Live from the Nemesis space bridge, underwater. Blast you, Starscream, you're a terrible driver. The name is Adam, and tonight we are going to dominate the universe.
Yes, indeed. We are the Scumticons. We have on our left a member of the Rock Lords, me in the center as a AT-AT pilot, and we have Tech there as the original Jetfire, which was literally just the Macross. A
It's
Macross.
just the Macross. Funnily enough, also
I'm a
purchased by
robot on
BattleTech.
fire.
Thank
Yep,
you, Harmony Gold.
Megatronus or the Fallen.
Yeah, I know nothing about Transformers.
Do not
Oh,
worry.
are you going to learn?
We are going to learn much, some of it contradictory, some you might consider unnatural. Now let me get out of this voice. I was just trying to be a bit of a shit poster. And let us get into, because I thought that this would be more interesting to read than the core rule book, which is a fucking mess. Let's get into the Decepticon Directive, which has a really fun image of Megatron on the cover, directing his troops to commit war crimes.
As you do. Now,
it's really
get it out of the
interesting to
way,
see them go really hard on the contrast between blue and orange, and it's kind of neat to see.
Yeah. The Transformers role-playing game and the Essence system is basically you have 4 stats and then skills based on them. You're going to roll a d20 plus a dice depending on how many points you've put into a skill. So the first one is a d2, then if you have 2 it goes up to a d4. And then there are modifiers based on that.
By the way, I do have new
perks
hotkeys, so do you see Megatron pointing? If not, that
Yes.
means I pressed the wrong one. Thank you. It was I had to set up
the
a
one
new
thing
scene
that
for
we
this.
are missing out. Yeah. One thing we are missing out from this book is the sort of basics when they make a character.
In fairness, the
You've
core
got
book was a
different,
bit of a mess.
Yeah.
It
You've
takes
got
100
from the core
pages
book,
to get into it.
Yeah, which I have on hand, has sort of basic characters like playing as a bureaucrat, as a gladiator, a hunter, scientist, that sort of thing, and basic alt modes like seacraft, race cars, trucks.
Basically,
That
you
sort of
picked your
thing.
type of frame that gave you different benefits, that also gave you a different alt mode. And
Yeah.
that is how they kind of established the vehicle transformation segment. It's actually the strongest part of this Essence 20 because it's kind of the focus. And for those wondering, Essence 20 exists mainly because Hasbro really fucking hates Wizards of the Coast. If you have fucked up in Hasbro, they assign you to Wizards. Wizards is their Antarctica posting before they fire you. Also, this is made by Renegade Game Studios. For those curious, the people who really have an interesting time with World of Darkness made this. So, Megatron says rise.
So the way
sorry.
Yeah. So the way that the system works allows them to add different, I guess, backgrounds, different roles, and different alt modes. Because there's an entire book dedicated to the combiners, and another one that is entirely focused on the Beast Wars.
Well, not only that, but this entire game system is designed to be modular. It is also used in the My Little Pony RPG we covered a good while back. It is used in the Power Rangers RPG. It is used in the G.I. Joe RPG. And this allows you to do a lot of cross-splat play, which is what they're actually going into. It's really funny. So here's the thing, right? The 5th edition of the World of Darkness tries to discourage splat play until recently. But when Renegade's given this property, they encourage splat play. I don't know if that's due to corporate mandates from Hasbro or if they actually just like the material more, but it's really funny. Also, these are all Megatrons, if you're wondering.
Where in the front?
Second on the back page.
On the back page?
I believe that's Armada's Megatron.
No, that is.
I thought they were both
nope,
Megatron.
That is Gnaw. That's a Sharkticon, and that's Breakdown from Prime.
Breakdown from Prime. I'm sorry. It's been a while since I've seen Prime, and yeah, he gets tortured. Sorry. It's just when I see the teeth, it kind of reminds me of. I've never seen Beast Wars, so that's like one of the few Transformers I've not seen. But yeah,
And
the
I do say, as a
Decepticon
Transformers
Directive.
fan here, what's great about the franchise is just how everything adds on top of each other. Like from G1, they add on stuff from Beast Wars to Armada. Uh, with the minicons
93
from
Robot
something
in
like Cybertron, you get
Disguise,
the idea of
which,
colony worlds.
yep,
Yeah, from
the
the
Dark Energon
comics,
stuff from
y-
Prime.
Prime, even to probably today, where the latest stuff was a Paramount show, Earthrise, which had Terrans, Transformers that were created and born on Earth. I guarantee we will see that added into the background of future properties.
Probably, probably. But notice that how many writers do they have for this one? Interesting. They only have one writer.
One.
That means that this is going to be mostly one vision.
Brian C.P. Steele.
That's an unfortunate middle name.
That's an yeah. I have no
oh yeah,
doubt
and
that Brian.
we just covered we covered live at the Succubus Club last week.
Yep.
Oh man.
These
I
beats
have no doubt that Brian is a nice person, but
I mean, he was capable of writing a whole book. He didn't need 10 more writers to help him like the last one we just did.
yeah.
And apparently he had binged 70 hours of Transformers media to help write the book.
So what you're saying is he actually gave a shit and he pulled an Andor even if he doesn't like the IP, at minimum.
Oh, so yeah, Guy Von Dude Science pointing out here, we had cultural consultant here, James Mendez Hodes.
Hey, that's
which,
a different person too.
I don't know if that's a Cybertronian.
I think that might be in reference to like probably some of the locations.
If
Well,
I remember right, I think
we do have to.
No, I think
Yeah,
Armada
we do
had
have to
a
say,
Mexican kid as one of them, and I know that there's a big difference between the Japanese stuff and the American stuff.
well,
That might
And
be what this
also,
guy was hired for.
Cybertronians have some interesting shit going on with them.
well, we also have to deal with the some of the unfortunate stuff that's a relic of their time, like
Like
the
Like the
Carbambia.
glorious
socialist.
nation.
No, the Socialist Democratic Federated Republic of Carbambia.
Yeah. Fun fact: Octane
I
and
want you to
Swindle
understand.
both worked on that, if I recall.
Yes, so they decided we're going to take oil to feed Tripticon, a giant robot that is also a base for the Decepticons. So what we're going to do to get the oil, we're going to kidnap a whole bunch of tourist attractions in throughout the world, land them in Carbambia, which has its main city has a population of 4,000 people and 10,000 camels, and we're going to and that will attract people to Carbambia, and we'll just feed off the energon reserves.
So their plan was to make Dubai?
Essentially, yes. In fairness,
This
this is Swindle and Octane. Both of them are very
No.
greedy and very short-sighted.
The
Swindle was
question
not
is
involved in
the
this. This
leader's
was
name.
entirely Octane. This was entirely Octane.
They're very interchangeable
scheme.
in personality. Let's be
But
blunt.
I want to
Very
understand this.
interchangeable.
Casey Kasem, who voiced Cliffjumper, quit the show because of this. It is horribly offensive.
It's one of the weirder decisions of all time.
Look. This all could have been
this
saved.
is G1 we're talking about. This is G1.
This all could have been saved if they had named the guy Saddam Hussein.
I mean, it could have been worse.
They named him Abdul Fakati.
It could have been worse.
A Libya reference.
It could have been worse, though. It could have been a North Ireland reference. They could have gone that route.
Oh man.
They could have. I
Saddam,
mean, the Troubles were a thing.
But yeah. Again, Saddam Hussein. Cars did it. It'll work.
Yeah, Carbombia. So what happens is when people think of G1, they mostly think of the stuff before the movie. This was post movie. This was post movie. This
Oh, they
is
went and
after
saying
Optimus was
pre-movie.
dead. Oh, this is pre-movie?
No, this is post-movie.
Yeah, because Octane
This is
you
season
don't see
3.
Octane until at least season 3, my guy.
Octane's a triple changer from season 3. You understand the multiple. I think there was a time where I think not Brawl. One of the triple changers was like running a football team. Um, there's another
It
one
was
where the
either I think it was
Decepticons
Blitzwing.
fake.
It was either
They
Blitzwing
do
or
a
Astro Train.
they do a Blitzwing. That's what it was. They do a false flag, which convinces the people of a false flag attack, which convinces the people of the world that the Autobots are the bad guys.
Oh yeah, I remember that
kick them
because
out.
it leads to my
And they
favorite
conveniently
scene.
launch the Autobots into the sun by
No, you're
accident.
forgetting my
And
favorite
it leads
scene.
to a Decepticon
Okay.
day.
I was just going to say my favorite scene from
Go
that
ahead.
episode is Soundwave DJs a high school prom. he DJs a fucking high school prom using his chest as the fucking switchboard for it and dances with teenagers.
Actually,
So what you're saying is
I
that
think it's
so what you're saying was that 9/11 was a Decepticon job.
It's funny you
it
mentioned
may have
that.
been because yeah,
It's very funny
because
you
the
mentioned
thing
Oh
that.
with the
god.
Decepticons is they can be incredibly dark, such as in the comic All Hail Megatron, where the Constructicons show up in New York City and then immediately just commit a massacre.
There you go. That's from that comic. Witness it. Soundwave doing community service after his war crimes. Must
Oh,
continue to
this
service the
includes.
community for 83 Vorns for the atrocities that I have committed.
Oh, this is the idea. He actually does become a fan of Earth. He likes elephants.
In fairness,
Yeah,
there's a lot of interesting, weird histories involving sound. A lot of the Transformers have very interesting histories, especially if you use the comics. So let's get back
and then
into the
there's
book,
also
which here's the
well, no, then
chapters.
there's also
Oh,
some
okay.
of the more, I'd say, darkly hilarious stuff. Is when one of them tried to kick a puppy.
Oh yeah, that happened.
I don't say tried. They actually kicked a puppy. This is in the Japanese cartoon.
Yeah, this is so the Japanese cartoons. This is post G1, the original G1 run when it got canceled in America. It was very popular in Japan, so it came back, and it led to things like the Headmasters and a bunch of other gimmicks, like the Rock Lords, which, if you're wondering, was a big shit post about the GoBots, which had their own line called the Rock Lords. But one of the things that happens is this. Yeah, you see this little dog? This guy is gonna step on it.
I
They
think we're
show
still
this.
seeing the Constructicons. We're still seeing the Constructicons.
Yeah, it's called a delay, my guy.
Oh,
There's a bit of a delay.
there we go. And by the way, the Decepticon, even though you see it, since it's a headmaster, it's being piloted by a human.
So technically, it's not even the robot who did it. It's the guy inside who chose to do it.
I don't know if, and I think that guy's name might be Cancer.
That
I don't
sounds
know.
about right. That does sound about right. I will say that this is actually one of the few ones that this is not
No,
I've not seen the full run. I have, however, seen some of it, which has some of the most hilarious dub changes ever. My favorite being that when Bumblebee gets reformatted, he's called Goldbug, and Blaster throughout it is called Billy. And when they blow up Soundwave and he comes back as Sound Blaster, they call him New Soundwave instead.
oh wait, now I want to get my lore correct. No, the guy piloting this guy is Wilder.
Oh, so he's a Scion. No wonder he's an asshole. He's a Scion from well, D&D.
But yeah, that can be kind of I'd say the gambit of Decepticons, actually terrifying and then just cruelly evil in an absurd way.
They're sometimes
And
very
then
funny. They're sometimes very stupid, and they're sometimes very sinister. Sorry, what were you guys gonna say?
I was about to say, and then there's Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers.
I mean, in fairness, the Decepticons kind of get that way sometimes too.
Like, actually, I
That's
can,
what I'm saying. Like there's also that. There's like three
yeah.
directions.
Yeah, now one of the other in the IDW comics, they developed the K class Transformers. Transformers that turn into bombs. They're
Yeah,
kind of supposed to be a one and done deal.
yeah.
Inshallah.
I mean, this is the
But as it
same
says here,
comic line that came up with the torture method of Emperata, where you rip out part of their brain. You basically fucking lobotomize them, cut their head off, cut their hands off, and replace them with crude instruments so that you basically damnatio memoriae them. That happens to Shockwave, by the way.
but as it says here, stand up, bot. Are you just another cog spinning in the perpetual oppression machine of the primes? No. Then get up off your fender, pop into something faster than neutral, and wear the brand. Cybertron isn't the shiny star bauble it once was, even if the big rigs upstairs want to sell that lie to you. There's energon shortages below the trading levels, but who do you think pulls that stuff up and cubes it through the refineries? How many of the names on the fight rosters down in the pit belong to anyone in a skyrise? Who has to wade through the oxidization mites and sludge gutters to stand in line for the repair clinic? You do, and bots just like you and me. But it doesn't have to be that way. It can be better. We can make it better. We can make the we can make them make it better. It's time to rise up, follow a real leader with real power and the strength to bring real change to every corner of Cybertron and beyond. Let Prime and his pawns call us criminals and condemn how we get things done. History is written by those still standing, and we are going to win this war.
4 million
Hail
years
Megatron!
later.
Hail Decepticons! Time to make a choice. Rise up, like the big man says, or get crushed under the weight of our victories.
So yeah, here's the thing. The Decepticons legitimately started as freedom fighters, and we'll get into that.
Yeah. Actually, read this. It's like, I'm wondering, what if they did a Marxist Decepticon?
I mean, if you're wondering, essentially, Megatron, they'll go into some of it, I think, but
Yeah.
the very basics is that Megatron is essentially this setting's version of Spartacus. Because,
Spartacus mixed with, honestly, with Trotsky.
a little bit, a little bit.
Honestly, okay. The idea of playing a Trotskyite Decepticon sounds amazing.
Well, no, they literally talk about here, Cybertron suffered from eons of manipulation of the social classes, which in some cases meant literally, oh, what's your alt form? That's your social class.
Yeah, so yeah, okay, this is a fusion of a lot of stuff, but basically, before the Great Civil War that absolutely fucked Cybertron, they had what is called it's not called classism exactly. It's called functionism. Basically, what your model is determines your status in life. Some examples of which include if you're a military mech, you're lower on the totem pole, mainly because you A, eat more fuel, B, you're more violent, and C, you're expected to be stupid. If you're wondering, this is actually one of the reasons Starscream joined the Decepticons, because he was expected to just be a dumb air jockey when he wasn't. He was actually quite intelligent.
If you're a
Larger frames
minicon,
needed more, so therefore they tended to be treated shittier. Um, they very much favored
minicons as
civilian
well.
models. hmm They favored civilian
Yeah.
models, anything that can turn into sedans usually, because those were the civilian and administration classes.
Or jet, or something that evoked, I guess, an air of authority or richness. So you generally had the people like miners who had been digging, for energon for millennia, just being tossed aside, and Megatron decided enough was enough, and
Well,
lead a
no, it
revolution
gets even
and
worse than that. In many cases, the cities themselves were stratified. Megatron came from the Detroit of Cybertron, Kaon, a failing mining city whose main veins of energon were thinning, and to even survive, he had to ascend. He didn't even have a name, by the way, because here's the thing: if you were low enough on the totem pole, you didn't even have a name. He was like D8000 whatever, and he picked the
Now,
name Megatron
if you've seen, if you,
specifically because
yeah,
of the Rogue Prime Megatronus, the Fallen.
yeah, if you've seen, Transformers 1, which you should,
Yeah,
he's
because the
the name he
trailers
takes
didn't
is
do good justice to it. Like,
yeah,
yeah, Bumblebee's annoying, but he's not like
is
that the whole time.
yeah, is D16, which I think is a reference to the original toy.
It is.
Like, I think
The D
Takara was
designation was part of
classed as
his.
D16.
Yeah, his D designation was canon. The 16 was the toy number. But essentially, unless you were high enough on the totem pole, you didn't even get a name. And you can kind of understand why Megatron was able to rally a bunch of fucking people. In fact, a lot of the Decepticons that are part of his command were former members of the Gladiator Pits. For example, Soundwave, the reason he's so loyal, Megatron actually risked his own death to spare him because it was to the death and he basically refused to kill him. That's why Soundwave is so loyal, because he could have been killed right there. Barricade, which is Barricade, for example, Megatron actually lets him talk back a bit, specifically because, unlike most Gladiator managers, Barricade actually treated Megatron fairly well. So he's able to actually give a bit of lip that other Decepticons, he'd have just shot them. He would have just straight up fucking
The
shot
other
them.
thing, though, is that when you're also getting the outcasts, you also get the degenerates and the psychopaths.
Case in point, the Combaticons. They oh god. At least two of them
The initial
deserve to be in prison.
Yeah, no, the initial Combaticons, which were on floppy disks apparently. Also, Prime wasn't a comic. I guess that's how big their memory is. Basically, they were taken out of their robot forms and their memories were put into like a stasis for crimes we don't know.
Although, given
But
what some of them
talking about
do, you
all,
can kind of understand what they might have done to earn it.
or then you get actual fanatics like the Decepticon Justice Division, who have a list. If you are on that list, they will find you, and they will do horrible things to you, including making you eat your own spark.
Yeah, they can do that.
Alive. But let's go on to our leaders.
So there's
We
many
have here
faction divisions,
the
but it's pretty crude because it's very much, do you have power? Do you have authority? Can you actually win? Cool, you're part of the conclave. It's very flexible, just because Megatron is legitimately a warlord. He is a warlord who values strength and loyalty to a degree, but also the ambition. In fact, actually, the reason he keeps Starscream around is specifically so he himself stays mentally sharp. He actually likes that he betrays him.
I do want to bring up a comment by Percival here. I can imagine people wearing shirts with Soundwave's picture on Che Guevara style, or trying to justify his crimes on 4chan like the Mustache Man. There is a Decepticon social media.
Yeah.
I want to point that out.
What now?
Where they do
No.
patrol people, they do
Okay.
You do have neo-functionists.
Dude, Randall was trying to say something.
No, it's fine.
I want to say they do have neo-functionists doxing people's alt modes and making fun of them.
Yeah, I could see that.
The literal post hands meme.
Gunformer hands typed this post.
That's all I could think of when you said that. I'm just like, oh, this is. Remember that one post where the guy, the black guy's got the black guy. Okay, so the black guy's got like he's got his Xbox controller, and it's like you can't post when you're black, and so he just puts on some white latex gloves.
No. Well, he had the original Xbox controller, and then he replaced it with a white version of the Xbox controller.
That one of the two. I can't remember which one.
He changed
I
the
think they
controller.
both
He
have
had a white
happened.
variant. He had a white controller.
That's fucking amazing.
Well, let's see some of the warlords here.
Speedster
So you have
hands misclicked these.
you have Megatron as and they describe in this alt mode the assault tank,
A little more impressive than a gun,
which
huh?
he will have from time to time.
If he's not a gun, usually they transform him into an assault tank. So, yeah, this is the main leader of the
Reference
Decepticons.
to Yep. Then we have Deathsaurus,
This guy is from the Japanese
the Emperor
stuff.
of Destruction.
Deathsaurus.
Yes.
Yep.
He is part of the breast formers.
Yeah, the breast formers. That's a thing.
Mainly because they had a bot on their chest that would also transform.
Allow me
It's
to show
just
you, not the
they-
dog kicking, that's funny, but let me show you what Deathsaurus looks like. He's from the Japanese stuff.
They recently in English renamed it to chest formers, but it's still.
Yeah, this is the breast former. He turns into a big fuck off dragon. This is also the series that had the Shinkansen themed Transformers, because yes, there are train Transformers that are based on the Japanese bullet trains. They're from this. If I recall correctly, they tended to be assassins because they're that fast. Oh, and also Deathsaurus has his wife. I miss my wife, Megatron.
Esmeralda.
Yeah, here's the piece of metal ass he slams right there. For
Now-
a minute there, I thought this was what's her face from the Energon trilogy, the crazy Yandere chick who wanted to fuck Megatron.
Oh,
Thunderblast?
Thunderblast. No, she's later in this.
Yeah,
Or no,
yeah.
it's Esmeralda.
So, fun fact, there are girl Transformers, at least in appearance. Cybertronians are weird. They're robots that were built by the Quintessons. These were like, I don't know what, they basically made female versions of this, although there's an alternate comic explanation where Shockwave invented the first female frame by torturing RC and essentially gender reassigning him into a female frame.
They the Transformer.
Yes, they did, and it was not Shockwave though. It was G-Axis.
Oh yeah, his mentor
Different guy.
G-Axis. So if you're wondering, Shockwave
Yes.
Shockwave had a mentor who was even more morally corrupt than him.
Yeah. Then they later retcon it to being that RC, this is from the IDW comics, was related to Galvatron, who is different from Megatron in this case. Just follow. Actually wanted to transition because they didn't know. Robots didn't know what gender was until they met organics.
Yeah, that's
They're
actually
like,
one of the things that makes the Decepticons grossed out, is that there's a lot of things that they hate about organics. What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, they tend to be a bit based on this, although they also just kind of hate the fact that we shed flesh and shit everywhere and release excrement. They just kind of hate everything about them. Ate me
Let's
organics,
see.
ate me Autobots, ate me... They're
This is where the
basically
Trotskyist
North.
thing comes in, because they're like, we're going to rebuild society and then make it safe for all robots.
Except you.
We have also Scorponok.
So Scorponok's
Uh,
interesting because he has like a million iterations. You would most remember him as the Savage Monster thing from the live action Transformers thing that was brainless, but he's not usually that. He's usually kind of like he's usually like one of the higher ranking Decepticons that tries to occasionally overthrow Megatron.
Yes, and then in the IDW comics, he had a brilliant scheme to basically create organic Transformers. As in, he was going to put a spark inside a human, have the human, I guess, reproduce, keep that going on, and then harvest the sparks to create more, to put them in metal frames. Listen, there's an image of him with a child inside of his chest.
Yep. Also, Scorponok is technically a triple changer because he can turn into a big fuck off scorpion or a fortress. He also technically needs a headmaster to do this since he's from the Japanese thing. And there's good old Shockwave, who, like I mentioned, he used to have a normal head, but that was cut off because of crimes against humanity that his mentor did, that he was implicated in. Also, his lobotomy was, you ever heard of failed successfully? They accidentally destroyed his emotional control chip, meaning that he has no form of morality guiding his rationality anymore.
He's logic.
Well, not even logic. He also became God in one timeline and was disappointed at his learning that he became God.
The great line, faith. How can you have faith? Faith is a lie. I invented it.
He literally created the universe in one timeline, and he was
He
disappointed at
tried
his.
to.
Well, no, he became God and was disappointed at learning this.
He became he killed a prime and disguised himself as it.
He also once had a psychotic crash out because his stratagems failed and he couldn't understand why his logic was failing.
He
Uh,
also
yeah,
also
Shockwave. The best
from the
way to
card.
describe him is he's kind of the Iron Warriors of the lot, only he's not a miserable asshole.
Well, yeah, there is also the fact that he thought female Autobots went extinct years ago from
Yes.
the cartoon, the G1.
Also, don't forget he is
Then we also have
responsible for the Beast Formers because he essentially mutilated his test subjects until they became things like Insecticons, or what it would eventually become. What were the Beast Wars Decepticon faction called again?
Predacons.
Predacons. He eventually created them too, at
I
least in
don't
the
know if he
Prime trail,
maybe
in
in
the
a
Prime
continuity.
timeline.
Oh yeah, yeah, but those are considered the Predacons, like the unit, not the faction.
He also is responsible for torturing the Dinobots into becoming retarded. He essentially got his hands on them. Although another timeline has him go to Earth right before the meteor impact, and the Dinobots scan the dinosaurs as alt modes and fucking rampage towards him as basically the meteor's falling right on there, and they're going into a death war on Shockwave's fortress on Earth. He's one of the more interesting characters usually. He's also the most successful overthrower of Megatron consistently.
Yeah.
As in, he has done it at least twice in two different timelines. And while he may not be quite as effective, or in some cases more so, he is still more successful than Starscream. Except in one timeline.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have, as I have holding in my hand, the Great Soundwave.
AKA Cybertronian Che Guevara, according to our chat. So he is a spy master who has a horde of Decepticons, basically creations slash children, kind of, slash minions.
Mini-cons.
Also, in one case, he tortured and basically broke a dude into becoming one.
Ratbat.
Yeah, he was a senator at one point, and in the Marvel continuity, funnily enough, Ratbat actually came pretty close to overthrowing the Decepticon leadership.
Yeah.
That was
They
weird.
then give us, though, in this, a bunch of other guys, including the Cybertronian Guard, which we'll see an image later, but they're basically guards in the G1 cartoon.
Oh no,
They're
no,
these bald
they're
heads.
basically the guards were creations that Shockwave made because Shockwave was given the title Guardian of Cybertron. Basically, Shockwave was so loyal that Megatron intentionally made sure to keep him on Cybertron in G1, and the Cybertron Guard were his drones that were based on his frame. I remember that. Because they mentioned the head guard. It's a drone. Sorry.
NDR. You're asking about a precursor race. Sometimes it's the Quintessons. Sometimes it's Primus.
Well, the way they usually do this is that the Transformers are a naturally cybernetic race that was created due to Primus. What they usually do is they have the Quintessons then essentially interfere with their development right as they were starting. Essentially, they discover them early in their civilization and enslave them and basically heavily influence their society because of that. And playing a Cybertron guard character, any Decepticon character that remains on Cybertron and follows the orders handed down by Shockwave, the head guard, or any of the stand-in are part of it. Some might fall into clear or more defined groupings, but quite a few characters with the drone origin would fit well here. Drone origin is also further expanded because Prime uses them a lot, to the point where they have a generic name for them, which is just Steve. Steve the drone.
Then next we have the Seekers. Now, for everyone here, how many Seekers do you think they've made?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I kind of hinted a little bit, but try to guess. And actually, let's get you guys in. Randall, how many?
I'm gonna guess at least 12.
You're guessing 12? Randall, how many do you think?
Like 20.
I think you're actually closer, Randall. So, there's the classic trio. There are the Coneheads. Then there are the Rain Seekers. Then there's another set. Actually, no, I think you might be right, Tech, because there's a lot though. There's a lot because Starscream is very popular, so they did a lot of recolors of them.
So I have counted from the tfwiki.net, which honestly one of the best wikis out there.
It's very
23.
sarcastic. Oh, yeah, that's why I think you were right, Randall, because there's a lot of ones that reappear, but there's also a lot of one-offs. So let's go through some of the more notable ones. So we got Dirge, Ramjet, and Ramjet, which I find interesting that they're listed first because this is 2/3 of the Conehead group.
Yep.
Then for
Then
whatever
we
reason
have,
they go to Skywarp, and then they throw in Slipstream
and
at this point. It's really
and
weird because it's
Slipstream's
not.
the funny one because that's the first female.
She was the first.
I think she came originally from animated.
Yes, she did. So basically, the thing about them is the only ones that are kind of unique are the Coneheads. Everything else is a Starscream clone, to the point Animated makes a big shit post about that, because Starscream actually makes clones of himself in that. And Slipstream, when Starscream goes, well, what aspect of my personality are you? You don't want to know.
It's his
wonderful.
gayness.
Also, if you're wondering, SpongeBob voiced Starscream in that one.
Yeah.
He makes
actually, I will say this. I think it's actually more representing the amount of female fans of Starscream. For some reason, and I don't know why, they like the backstabbing idiot, but women dig Starscream.
Well, he rocks a cool paint scheme. He basically has a lot of drip. Remember his coronation where he had the big fuck off crown? He's
Oh yes.
a megalomaniacal, and he's a scenery chewer. I'm not surprised they like him.
Yeah.
He's almost kind of a fop, which is kind of
He's
interesting.
Fabulous.
But then they give here also Starscream, Sunstorm, Thrust, and Thundercracker.
So yeah,
But then you have a subdivision.
Well, before then, so here's the fun thing about Sunstorm. Sunstorm literally only exists as the rare, basically as the rare Glup Shido Starscream that you would sometimes get. It was based on on a color editing error in one of the early episodes, and they made it into a rare as fuck action figure. And then they invented his backstory, where he is an imperfect clone of Starscream, where they tried to basically make him self-sufficient from Energon. But because of that, he's constantly at any point ready to have a nuclear meltdown, taking everything around him in a 10-kilometer radius, and he also thinks he's God, because he's a clone of Starscream.
I think that also might be a reference to the Underbase saga, where Starscream became connected to an ancient Cybertronian artifact, became super powerful, and then deactivated a whole load of the old Transformers. AKA, how are we getting rid of all of the Transformers that we've added in the Marvel comic continuity? depowered by a cosmically powered Starscream.
So another fun thing about Starscream is he actually has a mutation. He is literally immortal.
Based on the 1G1 cartoon where he came back as a ghost.
No, he comes back. This is one of the few things I do remember from Beast Wars. He comes back from there too. In fact, actually,
And
he's partially responsible for the crazy monster thing from that thing.
This is
Waspinator?
somehow more convoluted than Toho lore.
Well, yeah, this is what happens when you make a bunch of toy
Well, I
lines.
want you to understand, this is like 9 different continuities we're juggling together.
Yeah. So some other fun things about Starscream is interesting fact. He, despite being the treacherous commander, he is also a scientist. One of the big things about him was he actually was big. He actually was college roommates with Jetfire. So he was roommates with the Cybertronian Australian, although they didn't make him Australian originally. That was a later version. And he also invented his own gun. The specialized guns he uses, the null rays, he invented them specifically for capture. He is a weapons designer as well as funnily enough, his other specialty is astrogeology. Astrogeology and xenobiology. You know, when he's not being a narcissistic megalomaniacal weirdo.
But then next we have the Rainmakers, environmental warfare specialist. And what do we mean by that? Chemical warfare.
They literally spray acid rain that melts the flesh of Cybertronians. These are the guys that drop white phosphorus everywhere.
Look at them.
There's Acid Storm,
Aren't
Ion Storm, and Nova Storm.
they ready to commit war crimes?
Yeah, you can. This
and you
is
can
the
tell
face.
what they are because of the colors.
This is the face that you make right before you burn down the orphanage with the orphans still inside. They love their job. You can fucking tell.
And people say it's hard to follow the lore of 40K.
I would
Yeah.
So yeah, I will say this though.
Yeah, which has the more convoluted lore?
This just because there's different alternate continuities.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about Kiss players, which turns Megatron into a rape monster.
We do not talk about Kiss players.
We have
We
to
do
talk
not
about
talk
Kiss
about the
players.
Japanese comic where Transformers got powered up by having little girls kiss them.
Can we
because
talk
that is
about the Transformers
horrifying.
Evangelion crossover where Starscream transforms
Sure, that's fine.
into a fucking angel?
Sure,
He literally
whatever.
scans one of the angels from Evangelion and becomes an Eldritch Abomination at one point.
They teamed up with the Ghostbusters, Mars Attacks.
They've
You know,
also fought
Star
Godzilla.
Trek, I think, at one point.
They fought Godzilla at
They
one
fought
point.
Godzilla.
There's a bunch of Star Wars crossover stuff. Listen, the Transformers lore is entirely based around the idea that we want to sell toys.
Exactly, which brings us to the next group, the Insecticons.
So these
And
guys have
here's how it
multiple
is.
origins too.
Yeah, you see how in the named characters, there's all a bunch of characters, but they have similar alt modes? That's literally because they're a redeco, going from black and purple to like an orange and green.
So the original Insecticons from G1, what happened were they were Decepticon deserters. Basically, by the dredges of the war, by the near end of the war where Cybertron's really fucked, quite a few people deserted. And these guys said, you know what? Fuck this gay shit war. Because they're kind of like Skaven in a way. And they escape to Earth and essentially go native. They to survive, literally eat the bugs to become the bugs. I'm not kidding. They basically, to survive, they turned into bug mode so they could eat the material to turn into Energon.
Also,
In
there's
another
that one guy down there. Sorry, go ahead.
in another timeline, they're one of the earliest creations of Shockwave. Essentially, he goes, we could turn into vehicles, but what if I turned our Transformers into monsters? Why don't you just like cure the energy crisis? I don't want to cure the energy crisis. I want to turn people into monsters. How is that rational? It is rational because think about the damage that a monster can cause. You're my first test subject. Ah!
Also,
that's basically what happened.
yeah. So one of the characters there is listed as Venom. He is no longer listed as Venom as a toy. He is now Venom. You want to guess why? Anyone guess?
Spider-Man.
Trademark. You're right.
I like
That's why
Bombshell
they keep
staring.
re-releasing. They can lose the trademark.
Yep, they re-release. I like how Bombshell's
Jimmy-
just staring. That's him looking at the lore with you guys. Like, Bombshell's having your face, Randall. He's like, what is this shit? This is bad comedy.
By Primus. Why is Skywarp a girl? I don't get it.
Why did Starscream
What is a
turn
girl?
himself into a girl? Wait, what? That's where the
Why
female
does
Autobots
Starscream
came
give
from?
me the fuck me eyes?
Also, he's saying, unfortunately, KISS players is where the Japanese put the info of how Unicron returned in the other parts of the timeline.
Unfortunately, yes.
And we gotta take the good with the bad. But speaking of the good, the cassettes.
So let me just kind of, I think we kind of need to show off how many Decepticons exist. Well, let's show that off. Let's show that off. Here's Soundwave's entire team in one lovely photo. So in order, let me just get a good look. So we got Eject, Laserbeak, Ravage, Rumble, Frenzy, Ratbat, and he has even more. Those are just the more common ones that he has.
You've got Beastbox, Garbale, Howlback, Overkill, Ratbat, Slugfest, Squawk Talk, and Wing Thing.
That's the other one, Squawk Talk. Oh, no, Buzzsaw. Buzzsaw is the other one Soundwave usually has. Some of these are other ones.
Buzzsaw is the one that Soundwave originally came with.
Yep. Also, there is a running meme because what happened was they kept changing the paint schemes, which leads to Rumble and Frenzy's color constantly being questioned. Which one's blue and which one's red? This is the Gork and Mork thing. This is Gork and Mork, but for two little robots. Which one's red and which one's blue?
We don't know.
It is a mystery.
Well, then after this they give us several other divisions, the Tremorcons, which are
that's
one of them
from
is a siege
that's from
tank.
an obscure thing. This is from like an obscure one.
You know what? I'm gonna look up.
I think this is from the Japanese stuff. Post Headmasters, I think.
Most likely.
But yeah, if you're wondering if you're playing a mini cassette character or a Cassetticon, you usually got to listen to your boss.
No. It's from IDW. It is from the IDW continuity. They do not have toys.
I'm kind of glad they included them though.
This tells you again, this person knows the guy writing this knows his stuff.
So how does it feel to know that Renegade Studios, the people responsible for World of Darkness 5th edition, actually gives a shit about this? Vampire the Masquerade, fuck that. But, you know, the Tremorcons from the IDW comic run, yeah, we gotta include that. We gotta include the Rainmakers. Yeah, you know the guys that showed up because we needed Seekers, and we couldn't figure out how to get Starscream up there, and we fucking miscolored everything? Yeah, let's introduce them back. How does it feel to know that they like this IP more than the World of Darkness? In fairness, I think it's because Hasbro would actually torture them alive if they fucked this up.
Yeah.
But I think it's really funny that compare this to the World of Darkness books they write, and it's night and day.
They also give us then
hey, these guys! It's Reflectors. So this was like the least popular of the G1 toys. There's a reason he stopped appearing after the first season.
Yeah.
He was difficult to assemble. He also had a habit of breaking.
Yeah. The initial toys that they got from Takara were from different brands. So the ones that were turning into like regular items, like a gun or a cassette player or a camera. That was one thing.
So yeah,
Then there
I
were
can
the
explain
ones
this.
that
So
became like, yeah,
the household item ones come from a line where they turn into household items. They're aliens from another planet that turn into common items to help people, specifically young teenagers. Which means that Megatron in his initial incarnation actually turned into a gun to help a kid fight off robbers and shit. Megatron and Soundwave and this guy were all heroes in their line. And they were
remember
completely
he trans.
intelligent.
Remember
The
he
other
transformed into
lines, the
Walter.
ones that turned into vehicles, they were actually supposed to be similar to Voltrons or Zords, where they just turned into robots and were piloted by people. So Optimus Prime, in his initial incarnation as Convoy, was a brainless retard piloted by a kid. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, the Autobots were actually brainless until they were turned into the same toy line.
There's a character, Ultra Magnus, who was originally a. You took the Optimus Prime body, and that was like the robot, and then you would put him in this giant suit. So when you initially got Ultra Magnus, you got the transforming suit and the Optimus Prime bot, but colored white.
Another really fun one is every now and again. These are the two main toy lines, but every now and again they would just pull from another toy line. Shockwave was literally based on some weird Malaysian toy they found in a fucking supermarket one day. It was like a robot that turned into a laser gun that they found in like some market in Malaysia or China that they then just got the rights to sell.
So it was like it's literally like the Chinesium D&D monsters.
Don't worry, the Chinese then copied them back. I actually have a shitty Chinese bootleg of one of the bullet train transformers. Fun fact.
Yeah, what they literally did is, so the Americans looked at like the Japanese toys, were like, we would like to take them over to us, but we'd also
We
like
need to
to.
combine them into one toy line. Can we come up with like a shitty backstory to put on the box?
And they gave it to the Marvel writers to give up the backstory of who are these guys.
This is also why the Marvel comics are actually not too bad, other than the time Optimus legitimately killed himself in a code of honor, and they had to upload his brain in a floppy disk onto a new body. Literally, so what happens is Optimus kills himself because he accidentally had to kill a video game character to win the video game combat with Megatron. This would be like, so he did the equivalent of stepping on a Goomba and he's like, I have disrespected the virtual life of this machine, I must self-terminate. And Megatron's like, yes! Yes! Even though he lost. And should be the one that was killed. No, you don't understand. I have lost, Chip. Blow me up. But that doesn't make any sense, Prime. Do it! So he does. He explodes. And then they they take his memory, which is a shitty. It's not even, you know, the little floppy disks that actually have more memory. It wasn't one of those. It's like one of the shittiest ones. It's like the cheapest one you could get. That's where Optimus's soul was and memories. In this cheap, shitty 32 kilobyte floppy disk. uh,
Then
yeah,
we go
the
on
Marvel
to
comic,
what
early
everybody
Marvel
loves.
comics were funny as shit.
Yeah. The Combiners.
So yeah, these are some of my favorites. The Combiners are interesting since so the concept behind them are essentially what happens is you either undergo willingly a process, or in the case of the Decepticon ones, you're just kind of tortured into becoming this, where you are separate individuals that combine into a Gestalt consciousness that is based on a permutation of all of your personalities. The most functional of these is Devastator, who is still kind of a bloodthirsty psychopath. The least functional of those is Abominus, made out of the Scumticons, who are all mentally disturbed. It's basically like if you did a Voltron where everyone was a character from Evangelion. It's a disaster waiting to happen.
They give us also the other combiner teams of the Combaticons.
Yep.
The
So
Commandos,
the Combaticons, what happened was Starscream broke into Decepticon prison, and took the worst scum he could find, and then he put them into wreckage that he found off the coast of Guadalcanal. I'm not even kidding. This is the original timeline idea. He literally shoves floppy disks into like a rusted, broken out Jeep, a fucking destroyed Sherman tank, and then they magically turn into high futuristic robots. How? I don't fucking know, but they do. And he uses them to try to overthrow Megatron because he basically made it so that they couldn't process Energon without his help. Then they realized he was using them as disposables and fucking destroy him. The commandos are from some oh god, I don't remember these guys. These are
They're
like
from Robots in Disguise,
yeah, they're the 90s version or the new one?
the 90s, the one, the
Yeah.
late 90s version, and they are. And here's the other thing, they're just recolors of the Combaticons. If you look, artillery hauler, helicopter, off-road car, tank, shuttle. What do we have here? Helicopter, off-road car, tank.
Yeah, it's pretty uncreative. Yeah, you didn't know,
They also, for the
Percival?
yeah.
Optimus Prime, you could store on a 128 kilobyte floppy disk, my guy. His soul, the Matrix of Leadership, the Allspark. Yeah, all that fucking gets stored on that.
I like with the Constructicons, they include the regular guys, but also a Rector, Hightower, Scoop, a bunch of other guys that end up joining if one of them dies.
Well, no. What happened was the Constructicons, the initial team is Scrapper, Bone Crusher, Scavenger, Mixmaster, Hook, and Longhaul. Gravedigger is occasionally brought in, and the other ones are mostly added because what they did was they created bigger versions of Devastator. And what they would do is they would make new ones to allow you to build a bigger Devastator. And these guys are pretty great. The Constructicons usually punch well above their weight just because they are the most functional of the combiner teams.
And then there's what the Prime show did, not Prime, Animated did, which made them into just union workers.
They made them into corrupt union worker guys. They were basically just like peak New York.
Which now gives me the idea we can do the Constructicons. It's just the Sopranos.
You told if you wanted to make like Scrapper or Hook fucking Pauly, you could.
Oh,
You know, one of the best things is we built this stuff out of Duracrete. You know what's really good about Duracrete? You can't really dig it up to find bodies. A lot of bones were put into this construction, Lord Megatron.
Yeah. Word to the Rise. Remember the road to Iacon. Well, it was just a holovid.
One of the best things about being a Constructicon, we could just make an endless amount of cement shoes. They won't find you in the molten waters outside of Kaon.
Then we have the Predacons, the Seacons.
So what happened was the Predacons were mildly successful. The Seacons are like the ones that really just no one fucking bought. They exist. They're weird. I love the Scumticons because they're kind of crazy. Oh, they don't have these are the Decepticon ones, by the way. There are Autobot ones. The aerial bots can form into one, for example. And then there's the Compubots that can do another one. By the way, those were built when Grimlock accidentally ate radiation to become smart. So what happened was the Tyrannosaurus Rex got hit with a laser beam that made him smart for a while. So in his smart amnesia-filled psychosis, he accidentally built supercomputer robots, and he doesn't remember how they did.
Oh, and here's the other thing. There's actually rules then in the Beast Wars one that allow you to have smart Grimlock.
Which Transformer series had a hologram anime girl?
Beast Wars.
Beast Wars did,
Beast Wars Neo, I think.
Yeah.
Japanese. But let's see. Then we have the Terracons, and
the Terracons was a weird concept.
Then of course we forgot the Breast Force.
Oh, by the way, I confused the Scumticons with the Terracons. Scumticons form Menasor. Terracons form Abominus. I tend to get those two mixed up.
Then we have the questionables,
Yeah, like
like
Arachnid,
Arachnid
remember her?
from Prime, Astro Train, Rat Trap, which is a reference to IDW,
Yep.
because this, and the Sharkticons, even though they're made by the Quintessons.
Also, I like how they made Astro Train a renegade, just because there is an episode in G1 where him and Blitzwing overthrow Megatron, because in their own words, we can turn into two different things, therefore we're better than you.
Oh, and then there's the current Energon comic where, yeah, he just wants to murder Megatron.
It's pretty
Or not,
great.
killed his lover for some reason. And the roster obviously goes on.
So making a
But now
might
that
makes
we're
right character willing to do whatever it takes, because what happened was people complained in the initial core book that they had nothing on Decepticon characters because it was all Autobots all the time. This is what this book is designed to solve.
obviously your concept, what you want your starting scores to be, your origin, your role, and they give us now the influences, which tell you their, what they say is their life path, and they can be used for Autobots, but these are really geared towards Decepticons. Like, for instance, extremists. We just want to burn the system down.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. A lot of these guys started as political radicals that were rebelling against essentially an apartheid caste system. Like,
Actually,
here's the
this now
funny
gives me
thing.
the
Before Megatron became power hungry, the Decepticons unironically could be seen as the good guys in a way.
good. In some continuities, Optimus was with them.
Yeah. In fact, actually, him and
Which,
Megatron were original founders, but what happened was Megatron's greed and desire to dominate basically had them get into fights over that. And that's what Transformers 1 does pretty well.
yep. Then you've got the Fanatic, which is a complete and utter loyalist to Megatron, or who's
An
ever in
example of
charge.
this would be from the Energon trilogy Tidal Wave, who by the end of it gets
Yeah.
flanderized into becoming Megatron's cheerleader. As in, they do a
Well,
weird
that
fucking cheer sequence with him and Thunderblast, and it's like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It made my eyes bleed because it was so amazing. It was fantastically shit, if you get what I mean. Where it's like,
and I liked
what is happening?
yeah. And I liked Tidal Wave.
No,
He
he's
had
great.
3 different
He's
pieces
big.
to
He's
his toy.
retarded, and he says his name all the time. He's great.
Also, Percival, like the Bruja, I don't. No, they're really just more smash the system. Although the idea
These
of a
guys are
Bakunin
burn the
bot
system and replace it with a far better one.
led by me.
Led by me and anyone who has the strength and ambition and talent to actually get into the leadership. Like, you're not handed it because you're a senator. You're not handed it because you're this function. You gotta fucking earn it, my guy.
Then they give you the Gutter Champion, as in
Oh, here's Lugnut from Animated. This guy's
yeah,
great too.
yeah. But the Gutter Champion is basically
Yeah, that's Breakdown. I
yeah, just
forgot.
the dirty fighter.
And Breakdown in Prime is an excellent example of a dirty fighter. I'm more familiar with G1's version, where, so again, all the Stunticons are crazy. Breakdown is called that because he has the unfortunate alt mode of being a very rich luxury muscle car, and he is a paranoid who actually gets terrified of people watching him. He's like highly introverted and terrified of people looking at him. So he has a bad habit of getting the shakes, which is how his powers work. As in, the more anxious he gets, the more vibration sound waves bust through his flesh, and it causes pain. Like, basically imagine like ultrasonic high-pitched vibrations. That's his power.
Yeah. Then they
Compared to
give
Dead End,
us
who
the
literally
Lackey.
wants to die. As in, he legitimately
Yeah.
rams into people because he seeks death. I'm not kidding. They're all fucked in the head. It's
But then we're given the
fantastic.
Lackey, in which yes, you literally can play as a subversive just follower,
Yeah, if you want to play
and
it
they
like
do
the
give the idea
Igor.
of it's just as in copies of Decepticon drones.
A lot of drones have this as their personality.
But I do like the bonds here. I enjoy not having to make some of my own decisions. I have aspirations, but they can wait until it's okay with the boss.
I'm a bit of a
And they get
procrastinator, even with the
Nemesis.
boss's order.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of the Decepticons legitimately exist just because they really fucking hate one of the Autobots.
The example they give is Breakdown with Bulkhead.
I think a better example would actually be Wasp from Animated, because his life got ruined
Yep,
by Bumblebee.
legitimate.
So what happens in Animated is they take him to Autobot prison, and apparently Autobot prison is so filled with Bubba rape that he comes out jittering, shaking, and talking like Waspinator. He talked normal until the prison sentence. Then he's like curled up in a fetal position, rocking, going, "Bumblebot ruin Wasp's life." Which I kind of just take.
Yes,
I kind
and
of
this is
just.
before he gets the bug mode. This is when he is he looks just like a Bumblebee.
Yeah,
That,
he looked normal,
yeah,
and he actually had a slightly green color. It gets darker green, and he's basically completely destroyed by Autobot prison, which implies that Autobot prison makes Decepticon prison look nice. Because by comparison, the Combaticons were much more stable than
well
Wasp
you
by
gotta
the time he got out.
well you gotta understand, if they're fighting in a war, who are they going to be arresting? They're taking the people that they can't kill. The meanest of the mean. Guys like Overlord, Straxus.
I know, it's
Straxus,
just
yeah.
really funny because even
Just
by comparison, remember, Shockwave had part of his brain removed, and he's still more stable than Wasp by the time he got out of Autobot prison. How much fan fiction rape occurred to him
listen,
to break him like that?
I wish I could tell you that the Sistertrons let him be.
I'm just envisioning like the Autobot version of
Let's see.
Lugnut, just like this big fucking Autobot monster guy going, "You got a tiny frame. It makes for soft hands, boy."
Or I'm thinking I'm thinking of Oz.
Welcome to
Of Beecher
Oz,
just
bitch.
get it is Wass is the Beecher character getting J.K. Simmons, who's a gay neo-Nazi, tattooing a Decepticon symbol on his ass.
I'm not
But
kidding. It's
next up,
really
yeah,
interesting. It's just like, what did they like? It's actually kind of really horrifying how fucking bad he degenerates. Because he was only in Autobot prison for the equivalent of like 10 years. Like for an Autobot, 83 years is nothing. That's like a Vorn.
prison changes you, man.
Bumble Wasp not go back to prison, Bumblepup. It's like he just fucking shudders.
He just gets out. He just gets out, and he's at old McAdams. You see on one of the rafters, Wasp was here.
I'm not kidding. Like it is interesting. Like it's kind of uncharming from what I understand in Beast Wars. It's horrifying in animated just because he wasn't like that initially.
Well, Beast Wars, he's just an idiot.
Oh yeah, he's an idiot. Well, he's also his purpose is to get punched a lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But though the next pathway they give us is Recruiter. They do give Swindle as an idea.
Hey there, Slick. You want to join my
Yeah,
Decepticon multi-level marketing experiment? A little, you can work out,
I mean,
you beat your peds, and you can get an entire army in the blink of an eye if you just give me your credits.
yeah. Recruiter bonds. I revel in the art of the deal.
Octane's also another example of this type of character. He once
Yeah,
tried to
well,
rob
yeah. I mean, if he's
Starscream's
able to,
grave. He once tried to rob
yeah,
Starscream's grave.
I mean, again, if he could literally sell to a fucking Middle Eastern warlord, I'm going to kidnap all of these precious artifacts, give them to you, and somehow not have the world try to blow you up.
That's the episode where he gets haunted by his ghost. It's really fucking funny.
Or actually, no. Considering some of these, I judge anyone who doesn't haggle. I rarely take the first no at the end of the conversation.
No. Oh.
Is this for Jubot?
Yes. No means yes, according to the recruiter. Also, refinery
Actually, no, what
labor,
would be the
working class schlub.
yeah? Literally, honestly, a lot of Frank Welker's voices for the Decepticons in G1, literally, they sound like blue class workers.
And this is the type of stuff that you would have as your career.
I secretly wish I'd gone into management at the refinery.
Uh,
I use hard work to hide my emotional troubles.
I like the one where they just drink Energon out of the trash bin. I have a
Oh no,
taste for
there's
the
the one
dirty
scene from
Energon I used to
G1.
skim out of the toss
Yeah.
bins.
There's also that one scene in G1 where they're all drinking Energon getting drunk.
Oh yeah, what happened was, so they managed to
I-
get Energon. The Decepticons and Autobots get Energon, but it got tainted. So they get really fucking hammered, and it culminates in a completely fucking shittered Megatron, talking to his associates about the good old days, like they like
Back
it's
on Cybertron! We didn't have to deal in these ugly Earth disguises! Ah, Cybertron! Land of the Metal Moon! You can tell he's completely drunk because Cybertron has 2 moons.
yeah, like you're so shittered you forgot the second moon. They also almost died from it because it was also explosive.
Let's see. Then they give us Traitor. Those who have come from other ranks, such as the Cabal of Unicron, the Junkians, the Autobots, Cybertronic mercenaries, or the Quintessons.
And they use Gnaw as an example. This is actually more applicable to the Japanese stuff because factions tended to change more often there among characters.
And you did also have the variant where it's like the gimmick of this robot was you could spray it with water on the symbol to see if it was an Autobot or a Decepticon. And in fact, they had 2 sides.
I'm surprised they did not include punch and counterpunch as an example of this.
They should, yeah, they absolutely should have included them.
So there's an interesting Transformer whose gimmick is he has the ability to basically, when you transform him, you can choose to transform him into either his Decepticon or Autobot half based on how you transform him. And to represent that, the whole thing is he's a double agent, but at this point, he's kind of forgotten what side he's on. He's basically a better version of the character from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. In that, to become the spy, what he does is he partitions his memories, right? He partitions his memories into like hidden nooks in his brain. But the problem is he's done it so long and he's been so paranoid about it, he gave himself multiple personality disorder. So is he Punch? I forget which one is which. So is he Punch the Autobot infiltrator, or is he Counterpunch, their chief spy master in the Autobots' leadership? He doesn't even fucking know anymore.
Also, they did give us later
Percival has a
an
really
image
funny
of...
idea. Meanwhile, at Teletran 1. Megatron, why have you called? Ah, Prime! We just wanted to talk to you about the good old days. You're drunk, Megatron. Why don't we talk anymore like we used to do on the dockyards of Iacon City? Because you bombed Iacon City. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Just start swaying back and forth.
Remember when I turned into a... Remember when you turned into a monkey? Oh, I remember those days.
I
Look,
was
did
so
I ever tell you
fabulous
about
as a
Ashoka Tano?
dinosaur.
Luke, did I ever tell you about Ashoka Tano? That's the
turned
vibe
she
I'm
turned
getting
into
out
it.
of this.
No. Did I
She
ever
turned into
tell
a
you about
B-wing.
Deathsaurus's wife, Esmeralda?
Actually,
Like
Deathsaurus
a
has a
they
constant
did
wife?
give
Pono,
a.
Luke, you have no idea.
Hold on, they did actually give. Ahsoka. Yeah, she did turn into a Jedi Starfighter.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird Transformers lines. Funnily enough, the Animorphs have a Transformers line where they would turn into
they
their
do?
animals.
Yes, they
Yes,
do.
I actually had a couple of those too.
Weren't they just redecos of Beast Wars?
Some of them were. Some of them were. The
Yeah.
heads were changed though, different head molds.
Also, they do give us an image. I guess they're going with Frenzy being red and Rumble being blue.
I just realized they also changed the. Why did they change his head? I don't remember his
No,
head
that is
looking
his
like
head.
that.
I have my Rumble toy here. Um,
Why does he have
I
a
think
bubble
in the
over his
cartoon they
helmet?
kind of I don't know.
Why
Maybe
does
they're
he look
going
like
after the latest
Mysterio?
mold. But also, there's the High Guard, looking like a generic 50s robot.
Yeah, that's what. Oh, that's the head guard. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's why I was confused. Cause yeah, so Frenzy's red in this one.
Oh,
Sorry.
you thought that was Frenzy?
I thought they might have
Yeah.
fucked up, and I didn't see head
Nope.
guard. He looks like he's
So
about to warn a
they now
small
give us the
child that he's about to start shooting up the military base, a la Lost in Space. Danger, Will Robinson. My desire to spree kill has risen.
So they now give us the origins, which is what everyone's favorite thing is, the alt mode.
Yep.
And I do like this. The Decepticon movement feeds off those who give in to their emotions and their desires, specifically those who will not allow themselves to be penned in by legal codes or social mores.
Well, yeah, if you're willing to break the code, you're more willing to have Megatron bail your ass out of the fire.
Listen, it's okay that I'm with the protoform. We're making a bond.
I don't want to say anything about that because I think you need to be thrown into the fuck. I think you need to be thrown into Unicron's maw. Can we just let Unicron
But
eat him?
that not even Unicron's gonna want him in his cabal. That's saying something. But they give us here origins. Armory call. They turn into guns or shields. Like, Browning. Everyone remembers Browning.
Yeah, Browning, the guy. Don't feel bad. I don't expect anyone to remember this fucking character. I actually forgot he exists. Let me show you Browning. Here he is. Remember this
He's from
character?
Master Force. And I want you to say, the Decepticons gave it to one of their kids that they use for the Master Force. And he's a small robot, turns into an actual gun, doesn't shoot actual bullets though.
The more memorable one from G1 is Classic Megatron, who, interestingly enough, this is one of the weirder side details. If you actually see who is more likely to carry Megatron, the character who uses him as a gun most often is actually Starscream. Which is kind of interesting if you think about it. The guy most likely to betray you is also the one you trust in your alt mode to wield you correctly.
Maybe he just likes getting by Starscream.
That's what a lot of Fujoshis like to imagine, because just if you want to hurt yourself, look up Transformers fan fiction and just start reading.
It's so
All right,
much.
3 seconds. I'm checking out AO3. Let's find out what's the
Oh,
top.
you're not.
This is a terrible, terrible day. So let's make it worse for
Yeah,
everyone.
there's a lot of. Well, to be honest, it would make sense considering most of them are men that they would end up with gay relationships.
Now, in fairness, due to the nature of Prime, you might run into a lot more human on Transformers actions, just as a warning. but a very common
Let's see.
one.
Which? Okay, Transformers, all media types. We have 800,000, 840,020 works.
Yep.
Let's see. Do you want the top by likes?
Let's go with top by
Sure.
like because I want to maximum pain I must endure. Okay, here
All
we
right.
go.
All right. Guess the ship.
Oh god, I know Starscream's one of them.
Oh no. It's Starscream. It's gotta be Starscream Megatron.
Yeah,
No.
Optimus Megatron.
that's the other one that's pretty common.
Nope.
Does it involve Soundwave? Soundwave's surprisingly popular for this too.
It does involve Soundwave.
Okay.
You're
Blaster.
gonna have to put this in the stream. Give me a second.
Oh boy.
This is the top kudos Transformers.
Is it Soundwave and Megatron?
No.
Okay.
Soundwave and Rodimus.
What?
That's one of the choices of all time. That's one of the choices of all time.
Otherwise, one of the most recent ones with almost 500,000 words, however, is Optimus X Megatron, where oh no,
They squabble with each other. That means they in love.
no, you need to read the tags on this one.
Sure. Let me do that. Let me just make sure we're on the Nemesis Bridge because again, let's go. Let's go. Here we go. So we'll start with the Echo Garden. Show warnings. Rodimus and Soundwave. Rodimus is Rodimus Prime. Soundwave, Transformers. MTE Rodimus, Transformers Prime Soundwave. Well, that's one of the choices of all times.
The first one's from the IDW comics.
Crossover pairings, world building, AU culture, blood, crack pair but taken serious. Enemies to lovers, IDW1 Transformers Prime crossover. Tentacles. Like the comic,
How?
this fix contain. So Soundwave does have tentacles in Prime.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, shit.
Humor,
Oh,
action,
no.
adventure,
Oh.
romance, violence, horror, gore, medical stuff, grief and mourning, longing. Unlike the comics, this fic contains extremely slow burn, actually extremely long fuse, explicit sexual content. Remember, they're robots.
They don't have genitals.
Oh,
They don't have genitals.
Oh yeah, this one I actually
do you
remember
think it
because
includes
I've
tentacles?
stumbled on this one. I've stumbled on this one, unfortunately.
The next one,
Yeah.
The next one is newer.
Randall, you're gonna have to read this.
I need you to read. Let's read the blurb. Then we're going to read all of the text.
I can do that part. You're going to let me go, Optimus repeated. More sure of himself now that he saw the hints of condensation beginning to form on Megatron's plating. The silver armor moved and expelled hot air while cooling fans thrummed away inside the Warlord's large frame. Megatron might be a Decepticon warframe from before the Great War, but he was still just Cybertronian, so Optimus made his proposal. And no one has to ever know what happened here today. Megatron fiend mussing it out over a few nanoclicks. He tilted his head to the side, observing some crack or dent in the wall above Optimus's helm before he leaned down. He pressed the full weight of his array into Optimus's own. The heat of the black metal cover made Optimus whimper and buck. We have a deal, Megatron whispered.
Oh, by the way, this is for Transformers Animated.
Yeah, which makes it
Yeah.
way worse because there's a big age difference between the Optimus and that one. They're not friends. Optimus is literally a young buck
All right.
fuck up.
Let's
Megatron is
go
about
through
as
the list of
old
the tags.
as Ratchet is in that timeline.
Let's go through all of the. the
Why
tags
is
on
this
this
a
one.
thing? Well, I know why.
So obviously, let's the
Okay,
warnings. No archive warnings apply.
Fantastic.
Fucking lie.
So the pairings are Megatron and Optimus Prime. And let's go through enemies to lovers, accidental pregnancy,
No pregnancy.
mech
What?
preg,
Mech preg.
Transformers.
Spark.
Sparklings is a term for little Transformer babies.
What the fuck? Autobot
Transformers
Decepticon
pregnancy is
cross-faction
borderline
sexual
body horror.
interfacing.
Yeah, cross-faction
Multiple
sexual interfacing.
orgasms.
Multiple orgasms. Sticky
Transformers
sexual
animated
interfacing.
Season
Size
2.
kink.
Megatron has a biting
sexual-
kick.
Light BDSM. Non-sexual bondage. Pregnancy kink. This is fantastically shit. Smut
Service
starts
top
straight away.
Megatron.
Poured with plot. Nodding.
How?
Sexual frustration.
This is Season 2!
This has a quarter
We
million
don't have
hits.
Beast Formers!
This is almost 500,000 words long.
And again, it's a quarter million views.
Masturbation. Ice
Blood
flame.
kink.
Blood kink.
How do they?
Pregnant sex.
How-
The robots are having sex.
Should we just show this image?
Just show it. just show the tags. This is our thumbnail, guys.
No, it's not. It will never be our thumbnail.
It should be.
Can't spell slaughter without laughter. Jesus fucking Christ.
All right.
I need to chat. You get to witness this with your own fucking
By the way,
eyes.
by hits for works, this is the number 2. Echo Carton is number 1.
So let me okay, Browning, you're going to be the arbiter. You're going to be the arbiter. You're actually going to have a function. Oh boy, what is it? You're going to read this out. Here you go. Witness it. Behold. Starts screaming. Screaming intensifies.
Are we gonna have to? Should we just open this and start dramatically reading it? Because this book is boring. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Service top Megatron. I forgot about that one.
Service again. That's the fucking tag. Service top Megatron.
Autobot
Who the
shitty sex
fuck?
ed. We'll tag properly
just
when we get
let's
there.
read this terrible crap.
We should read this instead of this book.
Yeah.
Genuinely, this is a book for people who are big Transformers fans. This over here is a book for the dumbest fucking shit possible. And I wanted to see
No.
I am sickened and curious.
I
Okay,
want you to
how about
understand
this? How about
No,
this?
that is. It's also for Transformers fans.
So
You wanna why?
what? Why?
When they have future Ratchet Deadlock Drift. That is not from animated. That is from the IDW comics.
Yeah.
This person has read the comics.
Yeah. Here's the fucked up thing. So the people who write this sort of shit actually, it's not like the weirdos who do Danny Phantom and Batman crossovers. They actually read this shit. They're actual spurgs about Transformers usually.
And I realized this. They could just use the game to. They could do ERP with this.
They probably do. They probably.
What do you
they-
think that this game is for?
I'm not kidding. If for those wondering, this actually sells better slightly than most of the World of Darkness 5th edition, except for Vampire and very closely Werewolf. Like it's not the best Hasbro seller the best Hasbro seller is actually the Power Rangers one, which has completely fucking destroyed the World of Darkness. My Little Pony has also overtaken it. But just very quickly, I do want to at least cover a little more, and then we'll finish off with some selective readings from that horrible thing, because apparently that's where we're going. That's where we're going. I don't know why we're going there, but we are.
Yeah.
So
We're going there because this
Well,
book
I-
is this book is great if you have any idea about Transformers whatsoever. I can already tell
I
that.
had a feeling.
Yeah.
I had a feeling, considering the two of you were not, responding at all. I could imagine you're just there, like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I do
If
apologize.
this was a book that's meant to yeah, if this was a book that's meant to, like, I know nothing about Transformers, this is not a book for me.
I will warn you that I think
Oh,
the
no,
core
it
book
is.
is even worse for that in that regard. This one actually gets closer to the point quicker. That is one of the
Right, but
biggest
I think that
problems with Essence
there
20
should be at least
books.
some explanation.
Oh, there's Thunderblast.
Yeah, there's Thunderblast with her Yandere expression. She really wanted Megatron, so that's a thing.
All right,
I
so
j-
the consequences of accidentally creating life with your archenemy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh,
We didn't
no.
even get to show off Quickshot, but that's
Oh.
fair. That's fair. We're
You
gonna.
I
need to
think
send us a
all we
link
have
to it.
to read the first paragraph.
I do want to say the rest of the book, though, it does give you alternate takes on what they give as your background. So if you were like a scientist, well, how is
Yeah,
a
they give you
Decepticon
some cool
scientist
stuff.
like?
They give you
You're
good
evil
equipment.
scientist.
They allow
Yeah,
you to come up with
new weapons.
campaigns. They bring up Dark Energon, which that's a thing from Transformers Prime.
And
They give
I
reasons
do
on why
like
you want
this
to play
though.
this.
Yeah, of like saying with why would you play as a Decepticon? Bring up real world issues, and I do like this. Where there
By
are
the
some
way,
topics that you could connect to the real world, but they
We're not
say
escaping this,
Transformers
Imp.
media
We're gonna have to
follows.
read the smut fic,
Yeah,
but we just want to
I
explain.
know.
This is, if you like
Yeah,
Transformers, this book is a fucking mess. It assumes that you know stuff that you otherwise wouldn't, which is unfortunate. But if you do, I would argue it's a decent book. If you don't, this is
yeah.
a very low playable. Very low playable, very high garbage.
it mechanically works. You
I
could
would
play a
say the
game.
core book
You'd
is
have no
better.
idea what the fuck's going on.
I like this book a lot. Imp loves this book a lot. But okay, for those of you who are starting to die because Transformers isn't your thing, let's read the horrible smut story. Let's begin.
We
Okay.
need to read the horrible smut theory because otherwise we're just gonna fucking lose it.
All right, you two, read it to
All
me.
right,
This is
who wants
story
the first
time.
paragraph?
This is the
You
All
first.
send
right,
us a link
first
though.
paragraph. Are you ready?
Need a link
Are
to
you
this
ready?
atrocity.
I'll fucking go for it. Hold on, I need my most sultry Gilbert Godfrey voice.
I mean,
The only thing Optimus could do was struggle. A futile endeavor, perhaps, but he wasn't going to just lie compliant as he was chartered off to who knows where. So he uselessly tugged at the stasis cuffs clamped tight around his servos and tried to wriggle his arms out of the grapplers. His own grapplers, mind you, that Megatron had tied around his chassis, effectively locking his arms tightly against his frame. What topped it all off and made it 10 times worse was the stupid blindfold that the Warlord had placed over his optics, leaving Optimus to struggle in darkness. I want to note there's already a typo in the first the second goddamn running
sentence of nightmares. Yeah, that's about average for your Transformers fanfic. So, can you get a link?
I
Because
also need to add this.
if you want me to even
Yeah,
read this in my best impersonation of insert random Transformers, I'm gonna need a link to this abomination.
I am trying to search for this just through the tags. I'm having to go 60 pages in to just get to when this was last updated.
This was last updated. There should be a date here. Last updated on the 10th of January 2026.
Yeah, Transformers is ridiculously popular.
This came out in 2024.
Oh, I'm confusing it
Also,
with
Adam,
there's a
here
lot of
you go.
there's a lot of terrible fan fictions like this. So all right, let's read the horrible crap. Let's go. Here we go. Oh, I have to this is so spicy. I have to actually log in.
You actually have to have an account, yeah.
Fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic.
As
So
All
this
soon
right.
means
as
you
I
have an
saw
account.
that, I was like, all right,
All
this is
right.
gonna be terrible.
So I'm going to try to do my best Megatron impersonation, Frank Welker style, because I think that's where we need to go for this. He knew that they were
By the
moving
way,
from the rhythmic sway. Optimus could guess he was slung over a shoulder, a broad shoulder of a much taller mech, which he effectively guessed belonged to Megatron himself. There was a hand lazily placed on his aft, which had made Optimus grit his denta at the light touch, but Megatron hadn't done anything other than secure him from falling. There might have been a light tap of fingertips close to his modesty panel, but it had been nothing more than Megatron adjusting his grip.
oh my god.
The modesty
I
panel.
I am transforming Soundwave back into cassette mode. He is hiding from this shame.
Statement: do not wish to ruin audio-visual cortex with this garbage.
Oh no.
Oh, you want me to read
This
more?
is so
Sure. I'll do
terrible.
it in Optimus,
I
which
think
was
we should
probably
stop.
so much worse than
We need
if
to
the
stop.
touches had
This
been
is a
intended. No,
mistake.
no, you fucking chose to do this. You
Oh
decided
no,
to ruin our
keep
great
going,
book by
keep
covering
going.
this.
Randall's getting off on this, so we'll have to continue.
Which was probably so much worse than if the touches had been intentional, because Optimus's frame was having a field day with the imaginary scenarios being projected onto his visual feed. By his own imagination module, images of Megatron's fingers ghosting lower and lower until they were rubbing over his panel, a panel that suddenly disappeared, because his imagination apparently could not bother with proper details, before thick digits would roam over his valve, to then venture deep inside his input port. Still very much hanging
No!
blindfolded and tied up over Megatron's shoulder as those skillful digits worked him to overload. A visual he desperately tried to
What?
shake out of his processor before he accidentally activated some very inappropriate programming.
No.
I think we're causing Impsit psychic damage.
This is a franchise of toys beating the shit out of each other.
What if I
No.
told you
Optimus had
that
to admit.
these are like, here's the worst part. Some of this shit is actually like codified slang among these Fujos. Some of it's actually new, by the way. I used to have a field blast reading garbage fanfiction like this back in the day, so this is kind of like returning home in a way. Let's try my best friend. Let's try my best. It's Dr. Claw because I don't have a vocoder, but I'm trying to do it like Soundwave. Optimus had to admit, albeit a bit sheepish, that it had been embarrassingly easy for Megatron to capture him, especially since Optimus hadn't even been the Decepticons' true target. Instead, Megatron had been going for sorry for reasons that Optimus could only guess himself through so far. And I'm gonna
Not
have
the
to switch.
child.
I have to switch to Megatron
Not the
now.
child.
And Optimus had only simply gotten in the way. When it had become clear that the tiny human wasn't within his grasp, Megatron had once more trapped Optimus into his own weaponry. He'd yanked the grapplers without hesitation, knocking Optimus off balance for the fraction of a nanoclick. Yeah, it's a palate cleansing stream for me because this is, I mean, I'm used to this type of crap. I've read this type of crap way back when. It had been all the time that Megatron had needed, apparently. You'll have to do it then, little Autobot, the Decepticon warlord had said, voice just as dark and unmoving as it had always been. Be happy I don't remember how the Beast Wars Megatron sounded, or can actually nail the voice, because I would be using that for this.
Yes. Yes, you. Well, actually, no. This is Corey Burton.
Despite
More of a
it
gravelly
though, the
voice.
sound of it was so close to him that sends shivers through Optimus's frame. Shivers that he had absolutely cursed himself for. Then Megatron had brought that giant fusion cannon of his down on Optimus's helm. Do you want me to actually get to the horrible pornography, or do we think that this is enough?
This is enough.
Are you
More than
sure?
meets the eye.
Are you sure?
Well,
Do you want to actually go back to the book? Because
I
still
think
got
we're
20
done
minutes.
with both.
Yeah.
why do this? I remember being a kid
So that is parts of
wanting to get
chapter
home
1.
to watch the new
This is parts of chapter 1. Let's skip a good chunk of the book. It isn't your fault, Renegade Studios. This book actually is pretty solid. A bit of a mess, especially if you don't know what the IP is like. So instead, I think, do you want to go over the equipment, or do you want to go over the energon strains, or like
the
or like the
robots.
campaigns?
Why do this to robots? It was actually heartfelt in IDW. Why do this? Why, Fujoshis? Why?
You know why.
Actually, what we could go to is actually the stats for the specific Autobots.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll cover them, and then I think we'll wrap up, because it seems that more than meets the eye is kind of. We accidentally leaned a little bit into Kiss players, I think. So let's
No,
get out of Kiss players and into
even
something
worse.
a little more worse. Fair. Okay.
And now I remember there's technically a I realize there's a Transformers multiverse.
There is,
This
yes.
could all be canon.
It is canon from a particular point of view. Yeah, my computer did not like reading that. It's lagging a bit. I think my computer might be Cybertronian and regretting this. So specific Autobots
So,
include RC, which, remember, canonically in IDW was forcibly transitioned into being a female frame.
has mostly now become a very strong military and soldier kind of character.
So stunning and
She
brave.
somehow also knows French.
Yeah, she
I
uses
don't
it
know
in
why
one
she
of.
knows French.
She uses it in one of the other. I think she uses it in one of the spinoffs.
Ah,
She also is supposed to be. Oh, now I remember. I think it's a mixture of all of her incarnations. And remember, Black Arachnia was originally RC. No, that was Alita 1. I'm confusing the two. I do that
yeah,
sometimes. Here she is in her classic look.
that is the IDW version.
Yeah, so she's stunning and brave.
And then we've got Blaster.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm everyone's least favorite version of Soundwave, the Autobot DJ from Autobot City. Hey, what's up, Optimus? Blaster, you motherfucker.
I'm the second black-coated character in Transformers.
I'm the most black character and the second black coated, next to Jazz. He's fine. Blaster's
Actually,
a fine
hold on,
guy.
wait, no, look at that image. Look, he's got some of his minicons playing guitar.
Well, yeah, he's a DJ.
Oh, that's awesome.
He legitimately is the DJ host for Autobot City. He legitimately runs a radio talk show that includes music segments.
Then we have Bulkhead. Originally from animated, I think most famous from Prime.
He's most famous from Prime now, but I liked him more in animated. He also was voiced, I believe, by Patrick Star at one point.
Yes.
Which meant
that was the animated version.
that
Really?
in canon, SpongeBob and Patrick, their fry cook games ultimately turned into them fighting in giant mechas.
He also knows Russian, German, and Junkian.
That is from Prime. Prime Bulkhead was more intelligent.
Yeah.
Also, if you're wondering,
this one
his backstory here is from Prime.
Yeah. Although I do like that I don't know if Prime had the melee weapon that he's got here.
The mace, his mace arm? No, that's from animated.
Yeah. I do like how they're combining the whole thing.
It looks good. I think he looks good. I think they did a pretty good job in
Yeah.
making him, fit the look.
Then we've got Bumblebee.
Bumblebot should be in Autobot prison, not Wasp. Should have Valve molested like fanfiction told him to. Rocks back and
And I
forth.
do like here they actually include then the energy blades from animated.
Yep. This is more of a this is like a classic. I love I love that they're trying to keep the looks consistent here. I like that.
They've been a thing where they're trying to keep them the same. Although you can see like with the car doors edged up, that's clearly a reference to the movies.
Yep. And I don't mind that. I don't mind little references to the movies
Yeah.
like that.
And then there's Cliff Jumper
Who dies?
in Prime.
He dies in episode 1 in Prime. Also, if you're wondering, Cliff Jumper was the original Worm Crime robot. As in, if you ever played Transformers Fall of Cybertron, if you ever played as Cliff Jumper, Teletran 1 legitimately restricts him on what he can access, because the last time he had uncontrolled access, it resulted in him using the Cybertronian version of white phosphorus.
Oh, I think they've got this here. The glass gas canister.
Yeah, it's pretty horrifying. So imagine a weapon that turns your body into rapidly brittle and falling apart metal and flesh. It's white phosphorus, essentially.
For kids.
He's also
And
called
then
Cliff
Grimlock.
Jumper because he doesn't think. Anyway, here's Grimlock. Me dumb. Me make giant computer robots.
Unquestioned king of the
So
Dinobots.
So Grimlock's the Down syndrome Autobot.
So what happened was, in the original G1, the Autobots were fascinated by prehistoric life forms. So what they did is they went with the crippled kid, Chip, to the museum to learn about dinosaurs. And then Wheeljack, combined with Ratchet, decided to build artificial replicas of dinosaurs, which include their simple brains. They literally made them retarded.
Hang-ups. Dinobot Rage. Short tempers, if injured or targeted by a skill that is designed to taunt or mock a Dinobot, they suffer a penalty to all skill tests.
They are very
and
prideful
easily
about
distracted.
this because here's the thing: the Dinobots. Do you want to know what the solution was for the Autobots when they began rampaging? Because they had dinosaur brains. Literally, they were designed to mimic dinosaurs completely. Yeah, just lock them up in a cave. Literally, lock them up in a cave and fucking collapse the wall so they can't get out. What's that? Your creations are intelligent and capable of thought? Well, fuck that. Just throw them into the side of a river like you would an abandoned puppy. Or a baby you particularly hate.
Then there's
That
the
was one
time,
of the more
though, in the
questionable
Marvel
things the
comics where he was
Autobots
smarter.
did.
Yeah. When he was smarter in the Marvel comics, he literally cooed the Autobots, and he forced them to make him a crown and make him the leader.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with Grimlock.
Well, no, he's one of the few guys that actually
Then
can
we've got-
beat the shit out of Megatron in a full, like, all-out brawl.
Then we have everyone's least favorite Prime candidate, Hot Rod.
Here's the thing, right? Hot Rod in the movie is actually pretty good, but the problem is the Transformers movie kills so many Transformers that kids liked.
Violently, brutally, and especially they have a full-on death scene for Optimus Prime. This caused children to cry.
I actually remember
And then they give
there was news reports of legitimately there was a news report of a 10-year-old who locked themselves up in their bedroom and basically screamed that they were going to jump and kill themselves so they can join Optimus. Like they had to actually get like a crisis resolution guy for this kid. And more than one that kind of fucked up Hot Rod's arc. What didn't help was the TV show decided to backslide because the movie, he doubts his worthiness to lead because Optimus didn't want him to be the leader. It should have been Ultra Magnus in his mind. And the entire point of the movie is he shows that he has the potential to be an excellent leader when, he steps up to it. The problem is the cartoons made him a whiny bitch. It's like, oh, I wish Optimus was here. He would have known what to do.
Oh,
That's what ruined his reputation, in my opinion. If he was, they wanted to go with
for
him being
many
young and
years.
untested, but that didn't work. And then it culminates in them bringing Optimus back because the fan backlash was so bad they had to. And Rodimus gives up his title like a bitch.
They also, yeah, they also had when the G.I. Joe movie was coming out, they were originally going to kill off Duke. They instead saw what happened with the Transformers and just made him go into a coma.
And on top of that, that's why they didn't quite kill Cobra Commander. They just turned him into a mutated snake monster. Because they killed a lot of the Decepticons
Because it
too,
turns
which
out
pissed
there
off
was an
even more
ancient
people.
society.
Yeah, did you like
Oh,
Cobra Commander turning into a snake and all he could say is,
it's
I'm a
like the
snake, I'm a snake, and he's like really crazy?
Because it turns out Cobra is actually being controlled by an ancient society of serpent-human hybrids.
Oh, they even mentioned, well, what about Rodimus Prime?
Real American hero!
In one timeline, when Optimus Prime falls in combat to his Decepticon rival, the immensely powerful Matrix of Leadership is passed to Hot Rod, unlocking his true potential and turning him into Rodimus Prime. So they highlight that if you want to make Rodimus a character, you can totally do that, and this is how.
Increases threat level by 10, and he's at level 8.
Yeah, he can be pretty damn strong. Well, no, the best part is several of them.
But then we have...
Here's one of my favorites. You actually see several of them die even more brutally. I think my favorite is you just see like Jazz and Jazz and Ratchet. You see their flesh literally, their robot flesh literally cook like, and their optics explode and they die like in a snap. Several of them
that's
blink and they die.
Prowl gets shot, and you see like flames coming out of his mouth and eye holes.
Yeah.
And you just see at one point you see two other. I think it's one of the guys I forget, but it's like Wheeljack. He's just dead. They decided we're gonna take an animation cell. Dead.
He's just slumped on the floor dead. You don't even see him die. And for the if you like the Decepticons, it's even worse. I would say for the Decepticons, it's worse because you see their shattered bodies and they're like, no, don't do that. And they throw them out of Astro Train. They throw them out of Astro Train to die.
Oh, no, here's the great thing about this movie. But besides the fact that this was Orson Welles' last role, and he just plays as the planet eating monster Unicron.
When he read the script, he's like, oh,
which is how the movie
fuck.
begins with. The movie begins with planet-wide genocide.
Yes, it does. Also, the best part is Orson Welles read the script and he said that, and he basically regretted picking it, and like, I think he was drunk the entire time. Like, he was dying of liver failure in the hospital, and he was just drinking heavily as he was delivering lines as Unicron. He hated the script even more than Alec Guinness hated being Obi-Wan.
But the best thing about it, they had one of the characters say the word shit, which bumped the movie up to PG-13, which would force the parents to be there.
And listen to little Timmy have an emotional, psychotic breakdown as Optimus. Basically, here's what happened. Optimus is on a literal deathbed. His body is broken, it's shattered. It's basically like seeing Grandpa die in the hospital bed. And you just see his body slacken, his flesh grays, and starts cracking. And everyone just stares in abject, not horror, but like mourning. As you see his shattered fucking body gray out.
This was all to sell toys.
And when asked why the fuck did they do this, they said, this way we can get rid of our old toy line and introduce the new one. Which, by the way, sold like dog shit because the kids fucking rioted. Do you blame
Also, remember, Liam Neeson voiced Galvatron.
Oh, that's another thing.
He had Liam
Galvatron in
Neeson.
the movies is very different from Galvatron in the TV show. Basically, what happens is by the end of the movie, Galvatron goes insane. And basically, he's an even dumber version. Like, that's the other problem. The villain is less smart than Megatron and completely insane. So he's not as
Oh, but
interesting.
that does give us that did give us the great episode where the Decepticons send Megatron to a psychiatric clinic.
That
Yes.
happens in a comic book
The-
too, by the way.
But back to our robots here. Then we have Hound, who turns into a Jeep,
Yep. He's
and
a
they include his
he was a
powers of
G1
hollow
guy who also
projection.
died. In fairness, I think Hound's toy
He
didn't
had
sell well.
Yeah, he had hollow projection, so he made convincing holograms. That was his gimmick.
I forget. Did they kill Ironhide or did they just replace him with Cup?
Yes, Ironhide. No, Ironhide dies in the movie. He's one of the ones that Megatron kills.
I was pretty sure about that because I remember him dying, and I'm like, then they kind of introduce another guy who's basically like him. That's Cup.
Yeah.
So Percy's asking us, wait, so this was Warhammer End Time for Transformers? For Generation 1, the best way to describe this is an aborted End Time scenario. It doesn't quite go fully into going Age of Sigmar. It's basically like what would have happened if they decided to clear the board, so to speak, but keep Malice around so that they could do more stuff with it.
No, that was for the Beast Wars. There were people who
Beast
literally
Wars was
thought
Age of
Transformers was
Sigmar,
over.
yeah.
It's truck, not monkey. But
Yeah,
the next up is
but the reason,
Jazz.
but here's the other thing.
Everyone's
Here's one thing I will give some credit though. Unlike GW, the reason why people aren't as mad at Beast Wars anymore, A, it actually started good, and B, they brought back the robots that turn into cars really quickly. They didn't spend like a fucking decade with a thumb up their ass. That does help. Like, let's be honest, that does help. What I'm trying to say is, if they did Age of Shitmar and then like a couple years later brought back like the old world during the Great Invasion of Chaos, like around that time, like a couple of years later, I think a lot of the bad blood would have maybe dissolved.
Yeah.
Or you treat End Times as one branching, like what they did with Storm of Chaos, if you're wondering, is they made that non-canon. They could have that be a canon, but then have a separate canon. As you do.
Yeah, they but let's see, after
So this is mostly
Jazz, we have
G1's Jazz, which
Jetfire. And I do yeah, he was originally a Decepticon. In fact, they even have her skills, culture, Decepticon.
So what happened was Jetfire joined the Decepticons specifically because, again, he was colleagues and best friends with Starscream. But what happened was Jetfire got lost over primeval Earth. He got lost in the Arctic because of a surprise winter storm. Starscream spent days looking for him, couldn't find him, and he had to return home. And this is actually what gets him kicked out of the Science Academy. Because people suspected he killed his colleague. And they eventually find him again, and this is one of the few interesting things. Starscream actually felt like it's one of the few times they explore personalities, because Starscream actually was particularly angry when Jetfire left. And basically the reason Jetfire left is he was always a pacifist. Like the whole thing is he was like really big and strong, but he didn't like using that for war. He was a scientist, not a warrior. And he didn't like what the Decepticons were. Is he capable of it? Oh, fuck yeah. In fact, actually, the show, for whatever reason, I think turned him into a bit of a warmonger because they fucking forgot what his personality was. He was also called Skyfire originally to avoid getting sued. But it's really
As
funny.
we do.
They also turned
Like,
him
for
into an
instance, that
Australian.
helmet.
He's Cybertronian Australian, mate, in most of the other iterations. So yeah,
There's also the helmet
he's a bogan.
that we really don't use anymore because we might get sued by Harmony Gold.
I mean, they're out of business now, basically. But yeah.
Then we go Cup.
Or as
Who's
he's
really
sometimes
old?
known, if you've ever seen the hit YouTube videos made for Transformers by Dr. Smooth, shit piece. I'm not even kidding. Like
And
I
hang-ups.
recommend
Grumpy. Yeah,
if you ever look up Dr. Smooth on YouTube at some point,
we will post it in our Discord, which we have a
yeah,
link to.
because he
I
does
like
really
the
good
grumpy old
impersonations.
bot. Story time. They didn't include though the thing from IDW where he's smoking a cigar,
Oh,
but it's
that's
actually
fantastic.
some sort of like thing to keep him mentally sane.
I mean, look at him. He looks like he has no idea what he's doing, no idea where he's going, no idea why he's here, but he knows he must kill. Also, also the Dinobots fucking love him. As in, he's one of the few Autobots that they don't have any problems with because they sit down and just listen to his war stories. They actually really like him. Because here's Cup's like an ornery
And
bastard,
then
but
we have
he
here
likes them.
Mirage.
So Mirage is literally the 1%. Also, they did not do
He's
a
got
good
hollow
job at showing his
projections.
face. Oh, is he doing a fucking selfie? Is this shithead doing a selfie?
I don't know.
Yeah, he is. Look, look, he's holding like a camera to show his eyes, and that's like he's trying to do an artistic style selfie.
I mean, the other thing is that him? Could he just be invisible? Could it
That
all be a mirage?
that might be a joke, but basically, this guy is part of the Senate. He legitimately was part of the power brokers. So this guy's kind of this guy the Decepticons really fucking hate for a good reason.
Also, first of all, what's wrong with companies killing off their characters and rebooting their setting? Has it ever worked?
So
You're looking at this franchise has been around for 40 years. You're looking at a success story.
mainly because unlike what Warhammer did and unlike what the World of Darkness did, they were able to cycle through quick enough that they were able to take their lumps and they learned their lessons pretty early on. That's I think what really helped them. The other thing is there is an impetus to want to do that because eventually what happens is lore gets way too complicated to manage, and eventually you start just retelling the same stories over and over again. So it's very tempting to just wipe the board, so to speak.
And next on our list, though, of characters, Omega Supreme.
So
One
this
of the
guy is
biggest
huge.
Transformers. He transformed into two different parts.
His original toy was basically a big shuttle base, and this dude was designed to be a war machine. As you can see, because he has toughness 34, strength 20, size Titanic, because that's the other thing, size. He's huge. Percy's
Look at that! Look at that!
Percy has a really fun comment about Cup looking confused and not knowing what he's doing. That's why the Dinobots love him.
But look at that of Omega Supreme. Just he's towering over the city.
Yep.
He can
And
literally stomp onto creatures.
yes, he can. He also forms Autobot City. Or is that Metroplex? Because there's a lot of big
That's
Transformers.
Metroplex.
And finally, Optimus Prime, because you have to include him. I think we can stop at Optimus because it's getting a bit long in the tooth, and I mean I think this is a good stopping point.
Yeah. Yeah.
He knows Dutch for some reason.
I don't know.
There's like one episode where he goes to the Netherlands or something.
Maybe.
Probably.
I do like they include the Ion Blaster Roller, little robot
So
toy that came with
Optimus
him.
had a couple of side piece toys that actually have like names and shit. They include that. But basically, if you really like Transformers, this is the book for you. If you want to play a giant robot that punches people, it's not bad for that. I would maybe argue you probably could get away with that playing Mechaton Zeta. I'm not a fan of it, but Lancer might work better. Battletech would definitely work better. But I like this. I do just because, funnily enough, guess what? They actually respected the lore of Transformers and all of its shitty, inconsistent glory, unlike what they do with any of the 5th edition books.
And that is the thing with Transformers. I said at the beginning, they keep adding on to it. And I gotta say, like, because of it, there's a bit of a history to it, a bit of a charm, um, and it just then makes it, I guess, a lot more fun to be like, oh, that finding out where all the bits are from.
I would say this is a step up from the core book. The core book has some problems. It's a step down because it assumes that you know the system and lore much better than you probably would if you've never played it. I'm going to rate it decent. I think it's probably low playable if you don't really like the IP. Like, yeah, you can play it, but you're not going to want to. What do you two guys who have no fucking clue and were completely tuned out of it think? I don't blame you.
It's a game. There's clearly a lot of passion put into it. It's better than the last fucking thing. It's better than Tales from the Succubus Club.
Yeah, by far. Do you give it one Megatron molesting Optimus out of 5?
I give it a
Uh,
Soundwave X, whatever his fucking name is, fan fiction out of 10. This is definitely for fans, is what I'm trying to say. I don't doubt the system, like at its core, is functional. It does what you want it to do, but I don't see the appeal of this if you're not already a hardcore fan. Like it, if this had taken some time to sit down and explain, like some of the, rather than just drop a bunch of names on us about like, oh, here's these factions, and try to explain a little bit more about the ideology, stuff like that.
The
That might
core
have been a
book
bit better.
does that a little bit, but I would argue that it kind of fails at it at the same time. The core book
Okay.
gives you like 100 pages to kind of try to do that. I just don't think it does a great job. I kind of thought just jumping into it would have been better. That's kind of the problem.
But then I
The
realized,
Okay.
Essence 20 books are kind of a mess. The My Little Pony book had similar problems. Remember how that one also kind of just
I
threw
mean,
you into the deep end?
yeah, oh yeah,
that's generally a thing for a lot of these books. Is I do expect to some degree, even if I have if I have a familiarity with the subject, for them to at least try to explain it eh, to someone who this might be their first attempt at looking into the setting.
Yeah,
You
this
know,
book fails at that. That's why
I mean,
I personally have to
we
rate it
also did,
playable if you
yeah,
don't like it. Low playable.
yeah, we did go a little bit on the deep end with the lore.
this is definitely a playable. Like, there's nothing in this to me that says like, oh, this is bad. Oh, this isn't workable. It's just that if you're not a Transformers fan, you're going to be completely lost.
So I'm gonna very quickly, just because I can, I'm gonna crack open the core book because it kind of does a little
Oh no,
bit.
I got
It kind of does, but it's not
I've got my
perfect.
core book right. I got my core book right on hand, and
Uh, it
let's see,
helps a little bit, but not as much as you think.
they give a little bit. They basically say what the Transformers are, Autobots and Decepticons,
Yeah,
War
actually,
for
I'm looking at this.
Energon,
I'd argue they
including,
fucked it up. Yeah, they don't really go into it as
yeah.
much as they should have.
They do include though like a narrative between like from the perspective of the Autobots and then the Decepticons,
Which
talking about
helps,
Earth,
but they don't.
but it
It's
it is
short.
from a POV.
It's short, and they assume you know what the fuck this is, and that's the biggest failing of this IP based game. If you don't know it, you're fucked. Which is that's why
Mm.
I'm giving some criticism. I would also argue that the core book is a bit messy. It takes forever to get to places, and it's not the best at giving details. There's passion. It rocks with me just fine. I like it very much, but it's playable. It is playable, and you're gonna need someone who's like very autistic with the IP to really get the most out of it. If you just want to, if you want to play a robot that like turns into a car, it does that fine. Like the transformation system is actually pretty good. It's also simpler than we covered a book called The Robotic Age, which also included mechanics to do this sort of stuff. This is a lot easier to play. This is a lot easier to play. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
And hey, for all the fan fiction writers, it allows you to actually make your own OCs. Oh no,
But
that's horrible. Why did I say that?
yeah, you could. So what you can do is you can go into our description if you think Transformers is pretty cool. I put a link into Renegade Studios. You can get a copy of it there. Also, feel free to shit up our Discord because I'm going to do an evil and I'm going to actually post that horrible smut fic so that everyone else can feel maximum pain. I don't expect anyone to read it, but I'm going to do it anyway because fuck that. What's the other thing we mentioned that we also wanted to dump onto it?
I'm putting the Dr. Smooth videos.
Thank you, Dr. Smooth. That's the other thing we'll show.
They are hilarious.
Okay, so I will definitely say next week we need something that's a little more enterable to people who are not familiar with the IP. This was kind of like throwing your asses into the Marianas Trench.
I was lost by about page 7.
In fairness, we went
just
into
started
the
to be like,
weeds really
okay.
early.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week
Is
we'll
it
do
bad
something a
this
little more
Smutfic was
approachable.
more understandable?
I'm not surprised though. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not surprised. So next week is up in the air. We'll figure something out. See you guys, and like I said, Transformers was probably a mistake. So now Scumticons,
No.
flail and form
Roll
Autistikos.
out.
No, flail and form Autistikos.